or economic event. Radio Algeria International, our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The Al Jaish magazine has said that Algeria's principle of national sovereignty has been and will remain one of the fundamental components of the state and a red line not to be crossed. The international relations expert has affirmed that the holding of the summit of the gas exporting countries forum is of particular importance, especially that Algeria is internationally respected and is sovereign in her decisions. And as the Palestinian presidency affirmed that there was no safe area in the Gaza Strip for the displaced, the Israeli army has pursued its bombardments of the central and northern parts of the territory. And those were the major developments. Now the full news edition. Good afternoon. President Abdelmajid Tebboune has received at the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic the President of Al Mustaqbal Front, Fatah Bouteflika, with whom he discussed the reforms that Algeria is experiencing in terms of peace, security and serenity. The President of Al Mustaqbal Front said that these reforms have earned the trust of Algerian people in the program of the President of the Republic. After emphasizing the importance of the reforms, the President of Al Mustaqbal Front hailed the achievements made recently by Algeria, which is moving forward in the process of building a new Algeria, an Algeria that glorifies the past and values of the present while being turned towards the future, as he put it.
Once again, we are proud of the honorable and eternal positions of Algeria with regard to international causes and Algeria's current diplomatic dynamic. This reflects Algeria's capacity in recovering her position at the international level. We stress the importance of reforms and we reaffirm once again our attachment to security and to the nation's highest interest, which the martyrs and veterans sacrificed for. We emphasize that Al Mustaqbal Front will strongly support the reforms process. And earlier, the President, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received the President of the Movement of Society for Peace, MSP, Abdelali Hassani Sharif. In a statement at the end of the meeting, the President of the MSP movement said the meeting came as part of permanent consultations aimed at the preservation and protection of Algeria in light of the current challenges. They also tackled Algeria's international positions amid the current world challenges. The meeting, held in an atmosphere of sincerity and responsibility, had tackled different topics, notably national files of a socio-economic character and others related to the current international situation, notably the Palestinian cause and Algeria's efforts through her diplomatic initiatives as a non-permanent member at the UN Security Council. The meeting also tackled other files, notably the latest developments in the Sahel region. And let's note that the meetings of the President with the party's representatives came at their request and in line with continuous consultations between both sides. The Al Jaish magazine has said that Algeria's principle of national sovereignty has been and will remain one of the fundamental components of the state and a red line not to be crossed. Mariam Barshi tells us more. The magazine said that the Algerian army is ready to thwart any attempt aimed at undermining the security, sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. Al Jaish magazine added that Algeria sacrificed millions of martyrs to recover her sovereignty and is now ensuring its preservation. In its editorial entitled Our Sovereignty, a Priceless Legacy, the review said Algeria has different events to be proud of in her history, and the month of February is particularly rich of events that marked Algeria's history. Among these events, the magazine referred to commemoration of the National Day of the Martyr, coinciding with February 18th, stressing the importance of safeguarding the precious achievements acquired in terms of building the Algerian state on solid foundations.
It added that Algeria is keen to strengthening its sovereignty and independence and to preserving the country's highest interests. It also recalls the president's statement on the celebration of the Martyrs' Day, who said that the martyrs sacrificed remain uncaught and that loyalty to the martyrs remains important to social cohesion against those who plot against the country to undermine the process initiated in favor of national development.
You're still listening to Radio Algeria International, 14 hours 35 minutes Algiers time. And the international relations expert Asif Mulhim has affirmed that the holding of the summit of the heads of state and government of the gas exporting countries forum is of particular importance. The details with Narim Barshi.
At a conference debate on energy as an important factor in international relations organized at the headquarters of the Ministry of Communication, the expert said Algeria is a state that is respected internationally and is sovereign in her decisions.
This forum will be of great importance. Discussions between gas producing and exporting countries are very important to setting stability in the world's market. Algeria is sovereign in her political decisions, and we are accustomed to her honorable and brave positions, which are reflected by the holding of this forum on her soil. Algeria is not subject to any kind of foreign pressure. And in addition to this, Algeria is respected by all parties, which will certainly result in the adoption of recommendations and suggestions.
Evoking the major importance of natural gas in terms of energy security and transition, the expert said Algeria has an extensive experience in the field of gas industry and is among the main exporters of this resource, stressing that being close to the European continent facilitate the exporting operations. Dr. Mulham said that this summit is expected to create an organization of gas exporting countries like the one of oil exporting countries OPEC to guarantee the stability of gas prices and to alleviate the issues facing the gas market by proposing solutions. The Minister of Communication, Mohamed Lahgab, for his part, laid emphasis on the importance of the initiatives launched by the Communication Ministry in terms of training journalists for qualitative media coverage of the upcoming gas summit. He added that a number of Arab experts will give this week in Algiers conferences on energy issues in the world with a focus on gas industry. According to Mr. Lahgab, training journalists in the energy field arises from the fact that the energy sector seems to be only of an economic character, but it has political and strategic undertones that the journalist must know.
And meanwhile, the Director General of the Algerian Radio, Mohamed Baghali, said that the upcoming gas summit is of great importance.
What should be understood is that the Gas Forum Summit that Algeria will host is a very, very important summit. All this diplomatic activity that revolves around this vital energy makes us think that the Algiers Forum will be one of the most important economic events in 2024.
Let's recall that the conference debate on energy as an important factor in international relations was held at the headquarters of the Ministry of Communication. And the Energy and Mines Minister Mohamed Arkab has received a delegation of the World Bank led by Syed Tokar Hussein Shah to discuss means to develop and reinforce bilateral cooperation through exchanges of expertise and technical support. During the meeting held at the ministry's headquarters, the two parties highlighted Algeria's efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emission. Mr. Arkab presented the main files of the development program in the field and new frameworks regulating hydrocarbon and mines activities, which offers several advantages and facilitate investments, recalling the efforts made to diversify the national economy and to implement the scheduled reforms of the government's action plan. The minister emphasized the measures taken to strengthen economic growth as well as the role played by the field at different levels. And meanwhile, the finance minister also received the World Bank Group Executive Director to discuss economical and social challenges for Algeria and the region. During the meeting, the finance minister stressed Algeria's commitment to an ambitious program on economic reforms aiming mainly to promote economic, sustainable and inclusive development, focusing on human development. He added that the reforms covered several strategic aspects aiming to launch launch and implement initiatives to enhance the economic governance and strengthen the funding of a strong economic, sustainable and inclusive growth. Mr. Fayed highlighted that Algeria achieved major milestones in its reform processes by adopting new key laws, notably on public finance. And to the Middle East now, as the Palestinian presidency affirmed that there was no safe area in the Gaza Strip for the displaced, the Israeli occupying authorities pursued bombardments of the central and northern parts of the territory. 15 people were killed in airstrikes that hit Deir al-Balah, bringing to over 100 people killed in attacks carried out by the Israeli occupation in other parts of the enclave. The Israeli occupations were relentless bombardments of Gaza have so far caused thousands of lives and displaced about 85% of the territory's population, estimated at 2.3 million. The news agency Wafa quoted the presidency spokesman Nabila Boroudaina as saying that it is necessary that the Israeli attacks on the Palestinian people stop immediately. You're still listening to Radio Algeria International, and still in the Middle East, the United Kingdom today called on the Israeli occupation to think seriously before launching a large-scale offensive on Rafah, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have sought refuge. The British diplomacy chief, David Cameron, expressed UK's concern at the events in Rafah, as those who sought shelters in Rafah after being displaced many times have no other place to go. Let's recall that the UK said it adopted sanctions against several Jewish settlers held responsible for attacks on Palestinians in the West Bank. The Lebanese foreign minister, for his part, called on the UN Security Council to assume its responsibility and take action for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and to allow in humanitarian aid. And the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is in Qatar to carry on consultations with the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, in order to put an end to the Israeli aggression in the Gaza Strip since October 7. President Abbas will also be discussing bilateral relations and means to reinforce them. The visit of the Palestinian president to Qatar comes within a particular context marked by threats of the Israeli occupying authorities to increase its aggression against the Palestinian people, expressing the will of the Zionist entity to conduct an offensive in the Rafah region, where more than 1 million Palestinians are seeking refuge. You still listen to Radio Algeria International, 14 hours 42 minutes Algiers time, and back to Africa now. Côte d'Ivoire won the Africa Cup of Nations 2023 in the final against Nigeria at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abidjan. William Troostekong had put Nigeria ahead 7 minutes before the end of the first half. However, by the second half, the Ivorian player scored at the 62nd minute, followed by another goal for Côte d'Ivoire, scored by another player at the 81st minute, assuring Côte d'Ivoire's victory. You're still listening to Radio Algeria International, 14 hours 43 minutes Algiers time, and time now for the headlines. The El Jaish magazine has said that Algeria's principle of national sovereignty has been and will remain one of the fundamental components of the state and a red line not to be crossed. The international relations expert Asaf Mulhim has affirmed that the holding of the summit of heads of state and government of the gas exporting countries forum is of particular importance, especially that Algeria is internationally respected and is sovereign in her decisions. And as the Palestinian presidency affirmed that there was no safe area in the Gaza Strip for the displaced, the Israeli occupation has pursued its bombardments of the central and northern parts of the territory. You're still listening to Radio Algeria International, and that's it for our news bulletin. I invite you now to listen to our economic program presented by Said Bouazi.
Hi and welcome to our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. First in the news, the Minister of Finance, Laziz Faid, has called for rapid processing of files and immediate handling of the citizens' concerns regarding land conservation, emphasizing the importance of guaranteeing the smooth running of work and ensuring a quality welcome. This statement was made during an unannounced inspection visit to the land registry services in the municipalities of Draria and Ziralda in Algiers to check the efficiency of the work, the quality of the services provided to citizens, and the rate of progress of the digitization program for the administration of public domains. The Minister of Finance, Laziz Faid, has co-chaired a meeting with the Minister of Transport, Mohammed El Habib Zahana, with the aim of removing the obstacles in the implementation of investment programs and the development of the transport sector by meeting the needs of operators in the public transport sector. This approach is part of ongoing efforts to materialize the dense cooperation between sectors led by the Ministry of Finance in line with the implementation of budget reform. The Minister of Industry and Pharmaceutical Production, Ali Aoun, has stressed in the province of Jilfa the need to complete strategic projects within the time frame set in order to achieve the objectives set by the country's public authorities. As part of his working and inspection visit to the province of Jilfa, where he examined the project to build metal silos for storing all types of cereals with a capacity of 20,000 tons in the municipality of Hassi Bahbah, the minister stressed the importance of establishing a precise timetable and adhering to it when implementing such projects which have a strategic dimension and are linked to achieving food security for the country. The Chief Executive Officer of the Sonatrach Energy Group, Rashid Hashishi, has inspected the project to enforce the new LPG liquefied petroleum gas pipeline between Skikda and El Khroub in the province of Constantine, which is designed to ensure supplies to the east of the country. This project will meet the growing consumption needs in the east of the country. It will also boost capacity for transporting LPG, butane and propane and ensure large-scale supply and distribution in the east of the country. More in our program. The CEO of the Sonatrach Group, Rashid Hashishi, has underlined in the province of At-Tarf the need to commit to training technicians in strategic equipment for seawater desalination plants to ensure that they are operated efficiently and optimally. Inspecting the state of progress of the desalination plant at Kudyet Ad-Drawish in the province of At-Tarf, Rashid Hashishi said that this integrated and structuring project, whose achievement has been entrusted to a subsidiary of Sonatrach, has a vital economic and social dimension, and its achievement requires determined attention to the aspect linked to its exploitation. The National Hydrocarbons Company, Sonatrach, has signed a medium-term natural gas supply contract with the German company VNG Handel and Vertrieb GmbH. In a statement, Sonatrach CEO Rashid Hashishi expressed his satisfaction at the strengthening of the energy partnership with Europe through this historic contract with VNG, which marks the start of natural gas deliveries to Germany, adding that there is great potential for further developing this commercial cooperation and extending it in the future to other areas of the energy value chain, such as hydrogen. The Sonelgaz Group and the South Korean company Hyundai Engineering and Construction have agreed to set up a joint working group to develop bilateral cooperation. During a meeting between the chairman and CEO of the Sonelgaz Group, Murad Ajel, and the executive director of the South Korean company, Ryu Seong-man, at the Directorate General here in Algiers, several issues relating to the state of cooperation were raised, including the establishment of a joint working group. The CEO of the Sonelgaz Group, Murad Ajel, has called on the South Korean company Hyundai Engineering and Construction to participate vigorously in the invitations to tender issued by the group in the engineering and construction sectors. Murad Ajel was speaking at a working session with the executive chairman of the South Korean company Ryu Son at the company's headquarters in the presence of a number of senior executives from both parties. And to wrap it up, the Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arkab, has said that the 7th summit of the gas exporting country GECF, scheduled to take place in Algiers from 29 February to 2nd March, is of vital importance as a platform for strengthening international cooperation and discussing current energy challenges and the future of the gas industry. In a speech delivered at the launch of the GECF Summit website, the minister specified that the participants in the meeting will examine through strategic dialogue and collaborative efforts the way forward to ensure a sustainable, secure and prosperous energy future, noting that this major event was a melting pot of ideas and visions to promote the gas industry and harness all its resources to enable the countries involved to be at the forefront of meeting the needs of the global market and achieve energy security and sustainable development. And with this, we come to the end of our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. Take care and bye-bye for now.
Artificial intelligence is defined as the ability of a digital computer or a computer-controlled robot to perform tasks associated with intelligent beings. Nowadays, some limited artificial intelligence applications, such as medical diagnosis, computer search engines, voice or handwriting recognition, and chatbots, have evolved to the point where some programs can perform at the same levels as human experts and professionals. AI systems typically function by absorbing large quantities of labeled training data, examining the data for correlations and patterns, and using these patterns to forecast future states. Artificial intelligence can be used by employees to handle repetitive, low-skill jobs, saving hours of labor. Even though machines have been previously used on production lines, artificial intelligence enables to manage a wide range of jobs more effectively than in the past. Every business benefits from this. Businesses save money by using technology to handle routine chores rather than hiring people. It even reduces non-compliant fees and operating costs. Artificial intelligence is applied in many sectors, from digital marketing to healthcare. Depending on the activity, the kind of level of AI required will vary. For example, automating emails will require less processing power than going through a registry of patient information. AI is used not only for sorting information, but also for academic research and facial recognition. In addition, devices using AI are also used outside of the work sphere. Smart devices using AI can lower electricity costs and facilitate easier household management. Artificial intelligence was limited to sci-fi literature, video games, and motion pictures just a few years ago. Despite being commonplace, some argue that it is not even close to attaining its full potential yet. However, many fear that the use of AI will result in job losses. Experts reported that this is happening at a small scale. A common example could be the self-checkouts in shops or supermarkets. This is one simple example of how AI is replacing human tasks while simultaneously taking away job opportunities. Moreover, there is an urgent need to address the issue of the lack of transparency in AI systems, especially with deep learning models that can be challenging to understand. People may become distrustful of AI systems and reject their adoption if they are unable to understand how they arrive at their findings. Another issue that should be addressed is the amplification of social biases that AI systems perpetuate due to biased training data and algorithmic design. Introducing moral and ethical values in AI systems is challenging, especially when those systems are making decisions that could have major consequences. Researchers and developers must prioritize the ethical implications of AI technologies. AI technologies also present privacy concerns, as large volumes of personal data are frequently collected and analyzed by AI systems, which raises concern about data security and privacy. In order to reduce privacy risks, data protection laws and secure data management procedures must be advocated. Regarding security risks, it has been reported that as AI technologies advance in sophistications, security risks and possibilities for abuse that come with using them increase as well. By using AI, malicious actors and hackers can create sophisticated cyber attacks, bypass security measures, and take advantage of weaknesses in systems. The UN Under-Secretary General for Global Communication, Melissa Fleming, stressed that AI has been used already on social media to circulate disinformation and hate speech, which threatens human progress. Deepfakes and other AI-generated content are used to manipulate public opinion and share misleading information. In the digital age, efforts to identify and counteract misinformation produced by AI are essential to maintaining the integrity of information. To that, Mrs. Fleming added the following.
Disinformation actors take advantage of algorithms that are designed to prioritize outrage and user engagement. They are programmed to amplify the posts that generate outrage and often result in promoting hate speech. By design, they at the same time limit the reach of factual, reliable information, including from the United Nations. But large-scale disinformation operations have had their own limits. Up until recently, they required significant investment in content creation, they needed manpower, and a big, broad influencer network. But with the advent of generative AI technology, the cost and manpower barriers have been lifted. This means the online environment is about to get even worse.
Besides, Melissa Fleming recalled that it is challenging to detect whether content is AI-generated or real. She added that the UN is concerned by the following.
Targeted disinformation is already impacting UN peace and security efforts, and in many parts of the world, UN peace, humanitarian, and political operations are the subject of false narratives. This endangers UN staff and also the civilians they are tasked with aiding and protecting. I would like to recall a recent survey of our peacekeepers where more than 70% who responded to the survey said that disinformation severely or critically affected their ability to implement their mandates. 70%. And this is the landscape that they're already operating in. Now, enter cheap, off-the-shelf AI services, and targeted disinformation is becoming an even more potent weapon in the information wars. Those working to keep the peace, to deliver humanitarian aid, and to report on atrocities are becoming targets themselves of twisted stories. And this can undermine their missions by turning populations and donors against them.
Concern over the use of AI-driven autonomous weaponry by non-state or rogue states are also raised by the development of this technology, particularly by the possible loss of human control over crucial decision-making processes. Governments and organizations must create international standards and laws that guard against AI security issues in order to reduce these security hazards, especially as the risk of states getting into AI weapons race could lead to the development of AI technology with dangerous effects. For instance, researchers and leaders stress that intelligence labs must pause the development of AI systems. Furthermore, as artificial intelligence continues to integrate into various aspects of daily life, the ethical dilemmas surrounding its implementation and usage are becoming increasingly pertinent. One of the pressing concerns is the accountability of AI-driven decisions. When AI systems make critical decisions, it is often challenging to pinpoint responsibility or assign accountability for the outcomes. The ambiguity in responsibility raises significant ethical questions, particularly in contexts such as healthcare, finance, and law enforcement, where AI-powered decisions can profoundly impact individuals' lives. Establishing frameworks for transparent accountability and clear lines of responsibility within AI systems becomes imperative to ensure that decisions made by these systems are fair, justifiable, and aligned with ethical standards. By addressing the ethical and accountability concerns in AI systems, societies can better embrace the potential benefits of these technologies while mitigating their potential risks.
Presenting a